Hey everyone, this is DW's Darius and welcome back to the fish room. So it's been a while since I gave you guys a look at my aquariums. So today I'm going to give you guys a full fish room tour. We're going to look at all my fish tanks, going to look at the fish, going to look at the plants. I'm just going to bring you guys up to speed. First off, I do apologize because my attendance on YouTube has been terrible. I used to post videos once a week and now you're lucky if you can get a video once a month from me. Same thing on other social media platforms. I'm a ghost. I barely post, and that's just because I really don't have much time. I'm working a lot, I'm spending time with my family, I'm maintaining my aquariums, but it's pretty difficult trying to find time to film, edit, and post videos onto social media. So I do apologize about that. I thank you guys because you're being patient. The channel is still growing, you're still watching my older videos. Some of you guys are reaching out to make sure I'm okay. So I definitely appreciate the support, and because of that, I gotta make time, and here we are today. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and we're going to look at all my aquariums. If you hear any background noise, we have Ghost and we have Rocky. I haven't been sharing my story, my life, but remember Juno, one used to be a mascot of the channel. I ended up rehoming him. Juno was my Newfoundland dog. He was awesome, but I felt as if I wasn't able to provide just the proper conditions for that dog. He was a monster of a dog. He shed a lot, and I gave him to a Newfoundland rescue, and I believe he is living a better life over there in Pennsylvania. So this is Ghost. He's been with us for a couple of months, but let's get to the aquariums because this video is going to be super long. So yeah, this right here is my DIY plywood aquarium. This is a 880 gallon aquarium. As I said, DIY. We built this tank about a little over a year ago, and this tank is doing incredible. We're just going to start with the fish. So front and center we have my biggest fish, Cichla temensis, and this is my personal record when it comes to monster fish. I've kept other monster fish, red-tailed catfish, arowana, but I feel as if this is the only monster fish that I've been able to properly house. Of course, a bigger aquarium will be appreciated, but based on my past experiences, this is definitely not bad. Now this is a little size reference. I never actually take my fish out the aquarium to measure them, especially with these guys, because these are fighting fish. If I take them out, they're going to thrash and fight. They're going to cause a lot of damage to themselves, maybe even to me. So I never actually measure these guys, but just going based on appearance and just a visual, I'm going to say that this guy has to be close to 26 inches long. So you can see my forearm, he's about 6 inches longer than my forearm, and I have this right here, this little yardstick up here, and my forearm is 18 inches long. So yeah, we're going to say that that guy is about maybe 24 to 26 inches long. He's about 12 inches tall, and he's about 5 to 6, maybe 7 inches wide, not including his external fins out there. But definitely a beast of a fish, and looking pretty handsome. Very calm, gentle giant, doesn't really cause too many problems. The other day he was trying to eat this guy, my Geoffrius, but the Geoffrius he's a douchebag, so sometimes he deserves it. After that, the second biggest fish is my Cichla mono, about 6 inches smaller than my temensis, but definitely a nice looking fish. Probably not A+ quality if you go to Google, or even if you look in this aquarium. Back there, that's another Cichla mono. Definitely has some better colors. If he comes closer, you'll see a little bit later, but he has a nice gold and darker blacks. This girl is a female, doesn't really have the same A+ quality as the Cichla mono, but still a pretty looking fish. She has nice blues on top, and what I love about this fish is her boldness. I can come, and she's the only fish, well not the only fish, but she's the most boldest fish that I keep. I could go and I could just pet her, and I'm very bold, and that's all because she's just greedy. She wants to eat, so she's willing to get close to me because she knows that I am to give her food. After that, we have this guy, Cichla Orinoco. This is the biggest douchebag out of all my fish that I've ever kept. Absolute jerk. He preys in the week. Right now it's not too bad because his tank mates are catching up in size, so he really doesn't have such an advantage, but look at him now. He's stalking my smaller Cichla mono. That guy would have been bigger if it wasn't for this guy. This guy is an absolute jerk. But like I said, his tank mates are catching up in size, so he's calming down, and that's the reason why I'm keeping him. He's a beautiful fish. I don't want to get rid of him. But yeah, he's my meanest fish out of all the fish that I keep in this fish room. And I keep fish that have huge reputations, but surprisingly this guy takes the lead for the most aggressive. After that, the next biggest fish is my Cichla Azul. This guy is awesome, and pretty impressed with this guy. Usually, not usually, but I've kept cichlid zoos before, and they're not so bold, they're not so dominant. But this guy definitely wanted to grow in this aquarium. He caught up with the rest of the peacock bass very quickly, and he's just looking beautiful. After that, we have cichlid mono. He's probably not the fifth biggest fish, but being that we're on the topic of peacock bass, he's back there. And like I said, this guy definitely has more color than that lady up there. It could be because this is a male, but I think it's also because of genetics. But yeah, he has a nice gold body. He has dark blacks, nice bright oranges. Not really showing off too much because, as you saw, the Orinoco over here, the Orinoco right now is being mesmerized by this dog's tail. So let me see if I can show you guys. Ghost, come here. The dog was wagging his tail, and Orinoco was like getting into predator instinct. The dog's not cooperating right now, but if I shake his tail, yeah, he's not going to do it now. But he was just getting hyped up from the dog tail, so definitely got that predator instinct. And that's part of the reason why I enjoy keeping these peacock bass. So after that, the next biggest fish, probably bigger than that cichlid mono, is up there in the corner. You can't really see her too well, but that's my gold morph jaguar cichlid. She's in here, but I want to take her out because I'm just going to go all South American, and she's from Central America. But besides that, I definitely enjoy her. She's not too aggressive, and she is a pretty decent sized jaguar cichlid, possibly a record. After that, we have my pike cichlid, the most random fish I've ever kept. I can't predict this fish. Sometimes he's insane, and sometimes he's peaceful. Right now, he is in a peaceful stage. It doesn't really cause too many problems. He actually likes to just look at the stuff in the aquarium. This black tube, the pike moves it around a lot. He likes to play with these plants over here. So just definitely a fish that enjoys his environment. And I like watching him when he's like that. When he's a jerk, I definitely hate him. But like I said, he's very unpredictable. He could be like this now, and 2 hours from now, he could be insane. And it's kind of cool, but at the same time, I know these guys definitely don't like that bipolar type of behavior. The dogs are just making a ton of noise in the background over there drinking water. After that, we have my Messer's Geoffrius. Showed you guys earlier. This is a more rare fish. Not really a species. The species is becoming more popular, but to get him to this size is pretty rare. Mine is about 13 inches, and he's in the shadows right now because he just chased this guy out the way. But here he is right now. Camera won't focus. But beautiful fish. Kind of looks like an umbi. But yeah, he's a jerk, so sometimes the peacock bass like to gang up on him. That's why he has that scar right there on the side. But I'm actually considering taking this guy out because I want to put my Feste in this aquarium. And these guys are in the same family as the Feste. You know, two males from the same family definitely won't get along. And I choose the Feste over this guy because this guy is almost unnoticeable. He is more rare, but the Feste colors would pop a little bit more in this aquarium. After that, we have my Oscar cichlid. I'm going to say that this is a female because she's growing pretty slow, and she's also not too aggressive, which I enjoy. She spends most of her time just there, just floating around. I think it's the big aquarium. Because the tank is so big, she doesn't feel the need to claim territory. She doesn't feel the need to fight unnecessarily. She just sits there and swims. So definitely a nice addition to this aquarium. Doesn't cause any problems. Just sits there looking aesthetically awesome. And out of all the fish in the aquarium, nobody bothers the Oscar. Everybody else got some type of problem or altercation with other fish in the tank. The Oscar's the only fish that just stays by herself, which I think is pretty cool. We have two of these Pictus catfish down here. I want to take one out, but they're pretty good. Look at the pike being a jerk. I told you, that quickly he could become a jerk, and he's being a jerk right now. But yeah, we have two of these down here. I want to take one, if not both of them out. Just to free up space on the bio load. These guys are nice, but I really don't enjoy them as much as these guys because I don't really look down there that much. So yeah, just take these guys out because I don't notice them, and yet they affect the bio load. So eventually, who knows, maybe I won't do it because these guys are hard to catch. Last time I caught one with a net, it was a nightmare because he got caught up in a net because these catfish have spines and everything like that, so I don't know, but they're in there. Then I have that Polypterus in a chair right behind that rock. I want to get him out too. It's just a matter of going in this aquarium. This tank is 4 feet deep, so it's definitely not easy catching bottom dwellers in this aquarium. And then we have a PVC back there. You can kind of see it, and my ghost knife is in there. My ghost knife was out earlier when I was doing a water change, and that guy is pretty long. Ghost is literally like trying to wrestle me right now, so that's the reason why I sound a little distracted. But the ghost knife is about as long as that cyclamano. Of course, the ghost knife is a little bit thinner, but definitely a nice sized ghost knife. And that is the livestock of the 880 gallon aquarium. Like I said, they're looking healthy, they're doing great. We do have jerks in this aquarium, but definitely not a headache. After that, when it comes to the plants, I added an Amazon sword about a month ago, and I'm glad to see that the fish are not bothering it. Some of the fish actually enjoy it, like the pike. He swims through the leaves. Sometimes I catch the peacock bass swimming through the leaves. It is having a hard time adjusting to this aquarium because it's on the bottom of the tank, and like I said, this is a tall tank, so that plant is about 4 feet from the light. So a lot of the leaves are dying off, but I do see new growth, so I'm hoping that the new growth adapts to this environment, and that will look amazing. If it does do well, I'm going to have some more Amazon swords in this little left side of the tank, and that's definitely going to be awesome. And like I said, the fish are not bothering it, which is a miracle. Probably has something to do with the largeness of the aquarium, because there's so much open space, there's not really a need to go attack that single plant. Same thing over here, we have John Fern, we have Anubias. Before I had ferns on top of the tank growing aquaponically, and they created so much of a shadow that they killed the plants that I used to have. I used to have like a thick forest growing on these branches, and they all died out because the ferns above killed them. I removed the ferns and I'm starting all over, and so far looking good. Coming above, as I mentioned, I used to have 2 big ferns. They were just coming all the way over here, so I had to take them away. I have them in planters now, and I replaced them with peace lilies. Peace lilies are just a more easier plant to maintain, just a little bit more cleaner, more uniform in my opinion. This is a big peace lily in the center, and imagine having one to the left and to the right of that. Definitely looks pretty amazing, and the peace lily has these nice long flowing roots. So definitely a double benefit when it comes to aesthetics, not to mention a benefit of these plants removing nitrates from the water. I have added this ivy a couple of months ago. I got it as a gift. Some of the people in my family are allergic to ivy, so I just put it in here so that it don't get too out of control, and that so many people won't have interactions with it. We have pothos over here doing awesome. And then we have this Swiss cheese plant from the dendron, and same family. We have pothos doing great. We have pothos living underneath the water, which is pretty cool. To the left, more pothos. The exposure on the camera is terrible, so I know some of this stuff is awkward to look at on the screen. Right here we have a little piece of iris. I have this plant growing in the backyard pond, which you'll see a little bit later. This is how it looks when you grow it under artificial lights, and later on you're going to see how massive it gets under the power of the sun. It's about half the size of this aquarium. The pothos, not the pothos, the iris growing in my backyard pond. In the center we have just some plants that I'm working on, cuttings. We have a snake plant that I propagated, and I'm trying to get rooted in here. We have a little piece of pothos, and we have some water wisteria. And that is the 880 gallon aquarium. Like I said, this is going to be a longer video. We're already 13 minutes in, and we've only covered one aquarium. But like I said, I haven't been posting. Oh, that's a nice look at the jaguar cichlid. She's out looking gorgeous. Yeah, I haven't been posting, so yeah, this one is going to be a long one. Next, we move to the second largest aquarium, my 350 gallon aquarium. This tank doing nice. Took a few fish out. Probably going to take a few more fish out as these guys grow, because I want them to get as big as they can, and of course the more space, the greater the possibility of that size. So some of the fish that definitely are coming out are this Feste, or is this Feste. Like I mentioned, I want to put him in my 880. Gorgeous fish, sticks out a lot more in my opinion than the Geoffrius cichlid, so I want to get him out of here. I wanted to get this female jaguar dova out of here, but she's actually starting to look really nice. She started to color up a lot, so I might keep her. Same thing with the Dovai. I was thinking about getting rid of the Dovai, but she's been looking good lately. So for now, they're going to stay. The Madagascar cichlid, she's beautiful, but she's getting outgrown. Everybody else is getting so much bigger than her. So I'm going to take her out, and I'm going to put her upstairs in my 210. And besides that, some of these bifasciatus I'm going to take out. I already took out a pair. I had 6 of them. Took out 2 of them, and I have them in another aquarium, which you'll see later on. I'm left over with 2 males. These 2 are definitely males. This is my most dominant male, and this right here, second dominant male. We have a definite female. Where is she? This right here is my definite female, and this one I don't know. It could be a female, or it could be a male that's just not dominant, so it's showing female coloration. But yeah, we have those 4 in this aquarium. I definitely want to keep this male in the tank because he's just doing so great. These fish, they do best in competition when they have a tank with competitors. They grow the best, and he definitely is growing nicely. When I feed the tank, he actually guards this area, and I happen to feed on this left side of the tank, and he protects the food in a little pile, and that's the reason why he's getting bigger, because he makes a little pile of food and defends it, and he eats it slowly. Pretty interesting, pretty selfish, but that's how you get a A+ quality fish with that ambition going on. Over here we can see my other male. He claimed his right territory, trying to seduce this female. Yeah, that's my bifasciatus. I'm gonna say that is probably my favorite fish at the moment, that species. After that, we have my queen, the pear-sized cichlid. She's the oldest fish in this aquarium. Wait, no, I'm lying. I have my oldest fish out of all the fish that I keep, a catfish down here that's about maybe 12 years old. But out of all the cichlids, this pear-sized, she's the oldest. She's the biggest as well, obviously, because she's the oldest. But she's a gentle giant, doesn't really cause any problems. Eventually, she's going to be overgrown or outgrown by some of these males, like this guy right here, my black belt cichlid, growing nicely. Same thing with the this guy down here, the Brohoderi. Doesn't grow as tall as the black belt, but definitely catching up with the length. And this guy right here, my bifasciatus. These are 3 males that are looking to dominate this aquarium. Besides that, we have some obvious females. This Fenestratus is an obvious female. I'm going to say that this Argenteus is a female, not obvious, but I'm guessing a female just based on character and behavior. This Mayan cichlid, I'm going to say is a female, once again based on character and behavior. Females just are not that aggressive. This Mayan cichlid is aggressive, but nowhere near as much as a male would be at this size. So I'm going to say it's a female. Dovi is a female, of course. If it was a male, it would just take over this aquarium. Jack Dempsey, he's a male. He's just very old, and he's also deformed. So, he's actually older than the pear-sized. He's just deformed, so he's not that big, and he's not that aggressive. But he's very colorful and very handsome. But yeah, that is what's going on in this aquarium. Just fish growing up, a lot of ambition, a lot of potential. Definitely nice to see these guys get bigger and mature. Definitely a show quality aquarium. Underneath there, we have my 125-gallon aquarium with Endonymus. Endonymus is the brother to the female jaguar back in there. Jaguar Dovi hybrid, I should say. This is the brother. He's been doing his thing, still very territorial, very aggressive. Not really growing as big as he should be growing, or I'd say as big as a regular jaguar or Dovi would grow. I've had him for about 2 years, and he's about, I'd say, 9 inches. And I believe a regular Dovi definitely would have been bigger. Same thing with a regular jaguar. There's 2 possibilities why he's not growing that fast. One could be because there's no competition, there's no real reason to grow. Or one could be because he's a hybrid and just it's in his genetics to grow slower. His genes got mixed up and he just ended up with a slower growing pattern. Could be one of the 2, but I'm not complaining. I'm keeping him in the 125, and I really don't want him to get too big for now. Of course, I don't want to limit his growth, but this size isn't bad for a 125. But yeah, he's still himself, still very territorial. Doesn't really like showing his golden coloration. I got to come over here with a mirror for like 10 minutes to get that out of him. But I'm not going to do that because then he starts splashing and causing a mess. Yeah, he's down there still guarding his territory. And the last aquarium down here in the basement is my 125-gallon. What used to be an African cichlid aquarium. African cichlids were awesome, but I'm moving towards just aquariums that are a little bit more self-sustaining, meaning that I don't really have to do so many water changes. African cichlids, I kept the tank overstocked, and because of that, I had to do weekly water changes. With this tank, the demand for weekly water changes, of course, is not that high. So yeah, this is that pair of Vieja bifasciatus that I took out of my 350. We have this male right here who just went under the rock. He definitely was not my most dominant male. However, when he was in a 350, he was paired with a female. I wasn't able to catch his female. I caught this female, which is more dominant and bigger than his female. But yeah, he was paired up with that female, so he had more color than my main dominant male. And that's the reason why I chose him. And this female, she was just the one that I happened to be able to catch. They're still trying to get along. They're still trying to bond, but they definitely are making a lot of progress. We have this little pit dug out, and they do spend a lot of time together. Don't they bicker every now and then, but of course nothing unusual for a pair of fish that's trying to become bonded. Definitely some beautiful looking fish. I gave the tank a rescape and is looking pretty great. Of course, it's hard to miss these little dots swimming around. And of course, this tank used to be an African cichlid tank, and with African cichlids you have fry that can survive anything. And these are the fry that I couldn't catch. I have about 10 of these guys, all different types. We have yellow labs, 3 yellow labs. We have 1 Kenyi, the blue one right here. And then we have some Mason reefs, about 5 of them. So we have enough to start a whole new colony of African cichlids. I want to get them out, but it's going to be difficult to get them out. So I'm going to leave them for now. They're nice as dither fish for these bifasciatus, just make them a little bit more comfortable in the aquarium. But eventually I got to figure out what to do, because in no time they're going to be big enough to reproduce. Look at this. You got the male showing off a little bit. This is the male. He has more color than my most dominant male over my 350. Like I said, because he was previously paired up with a different female. Definitely a gorgeous fish. And the background just makes it even more better. So yeah, these guys trying to figure out what's going on with each other. They're trying to establish command. The male wants to be more dominant before you do any spawning. So that's what's going on. She right there, she's just a little flash, and that's because the pH is a little bit off compared to what they're used to. And the 350 I had lower pH because naturally that's what they prefer. In this African cichlid tank, I used to keep African cichlids, as I keep saying, so I have crushed coral in the substrate, so it raises the pH a little bit higher than what they would prefer. I'm working on ways to reduce that, but for now they twitch every now and then because of that. But yeah, this is my latest project, my latest production, and I'm loving it. This tank right here, in my opinion, is almost A+ quality if it wasn't for the African cichlids. Of course, the African cichlids throw it off. I would rather platies, because then I could say that this is truly a natural aquarium, because platies come from the same region. However, you can't really tell that they are African cichlids, and it looks awesome. So yeah, that is what's going on in the basement as of now. Okay, so next we have my 210-gallon aquarium. This tank is not in the fish room. I used to call this my Asian themed aquarium, but I'm going to have to toss that idea out the window because I have fish in this tank that are not from Asia, and I'm probably going to add more fish that are not from Asia. But yeah, this tank is pretty mixed up, but I'm definitely loving it. We have my bala sharks as the main fish. Love these guys because they move almost non-stop, and they definitely look like sharks. They have that nice tall dorsal fin, and like I said, the activity level, non-stop movement, definitely relaxing to look at that. On a smaller scale, we have my roseline sharks. They're definitely doing nice. They stay swimming as well. They try to stay more in a group, so you got a nice little batch of red. I have 7 of them. Might get some more in the future, but you definitely can't go wrong with roseline sharks. They're just as active and beautiful, and eventually when they are closer to size to these guys, I imagine that they're going to come down and swim with the bala sharks. They're just up here because they're a little bit intimidated, because they're like half, if not 3 times, some even 4 times smaller than these bala sharks. But yeah, eventually when they do catch in size, we'll have one big school of sharks, and it's definitely going to look incredible. If you look above, we have little specks of blue, and those are paradise gourami. I had paradise gourami in the backyard pond, a different pond, not my main pond. I threw up a little temporal pond, and I had some out there. I had to bring them somewhere, and I decided to put them in this aquarium. They're definitely looking great. That blue is amazing. They actually bred in this aquarium. I have a male, and I have like 2 males and 3 females. And one day I came and I saw babies just all in these bushes up here. Of course, they didn't survive because we do have sharks in the tank. But it's nice to see that they're comfortable in the aquarium. When I see fish breeding and spawning in the tank, it just lets me know that they're comfortable in the aquarium. So we have 5 of those, and then we have 1 pink kissing gourami, a fish that I've wanted for a long time, and definitely a very smart fish, very interactive, and I'm just very curious. After that, we have the fish that are not from Asia. We have my female convict, who's the tank boss. Look at her, fighting her reflection. She's showing male coloration, but definitely she's a female. I raised her from a tiny little baby. She was actually meant to be fish food. I fed her and her brothers and sisters to endonymus, but she managed to survive, and that's the reason why I keep her. She's definitely looking great over here, shadow boxing her reflection. And then we have this Texas cichlid. I'm growing him out for my 350-gallon aquarium. I want to get some more blues in that aquarium, so he's going to be in this tank for a couple of months until he's big enough to go in my 350. And as I mentioned, I might bring up my Madagascar cichlid into this aquarium because it's more of a peaceful vibe. Can't do it yet because she's big enough to eat these roseline sharks, but eventually when they get bigger, I'll think about bringing her up here, and she definitely will look awesome, and she'll be at peace. Even though she might cause some problems in this aquarium, I think eventually in the long run it should work out. Besides that, one of the highlights of this aquarium are the plants. Plants are doing incredible. Just look at the blue dots, the blue fish inside the plants and roots. That just looks awesome. But yeah, we have pothos growing underneath the water. These roots over here are from more pothos. We have brown roots over here coming from a fern. The ferns just look incredible above aquariums. And just overall, this tank has that pond feeling to it. And I definitely believe that these gourami and these higher swimming fish, they definitely appreciate the leaves and the coverage. Just makes them feel a little bit more safer. And I believe that's the reason why they're willing to spawn in a tank that's so active. But yeah, we have a lot of nice plants growing up there. I tried to grow some underwater plants, like you said, Anubias right there. I have more Anubias everywhere. There's one right there, but I don't know if you can see it, but that one is chewed up. So somebody in this aquarium is eating the plants. It might be these bolide sharks. So I can't do too many underwater plants, but the above plants are doing great. I actually have some of these plants. You can see I drilled the hole right there. I have the plant coming out, and these plants are all over this room. I want to turn this light on, but I know that the color tone or temperature is going to be terrible. But we have these plants right here. This is growing out of the aquarium. This one right here, growing out of the aquarium, and the vine is about 10 feet long. It goes up, over, and back into the aquarium. And just definitely very nice to work with plants like that. Again, that's the reason why I enjoy this tank with the natural light, because it allows me just to experiment a little bit more and yeah, to mix it up with the plants. So yeah, that is the 210 gallon aquarium, looking great, but expect a few more changes, possibly some more roseline sharks and a few more cichlids. But yeah, definitely enjoying the activity level of this aquarium. Next, we have my two 20 gallon aquariums. Now these two tanks actually represent my goal as a fish keeper for all my aquariums. These tanks are almost on that level of perfection when it comes to just being an ecosystem, and they're almost self-sustaining. And it's amazing because this tank or these tanks require the least amount of care and the least amount of equipment. As you can see, these tanks don't have any artificial lighting. We rely on natural lights. They don't have any filters, any heaters, or anything electric or that needs to be powered. All we have are two glass boxes with water in them, plants and fish, and exposure to light, a balance of those components, and perfection. And that's pretty much what you have in the wild, and I believe that's the reason why I'm having so much success with these aquariums. So yeah, I don't have any equipment on these tanks, and yet I could go months without doing water changes. I haven't done a water change in about 2 months so far on these tanks. Every now and then I switch it up. Sometimes I go 2 months, sometimes I go 3 or 4 months. Just switch it up. I like to do water changes because it just allows me to interact with the fish. However, these two tanks definitely don't need it, and that's what I care about the most. Having aquariums that don't require water changes, but can be that can take care of their problems on their own. Now, the way that these tanks take care of their own problems and the way that they remove their own waste is because of the plants. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail because I made a ton of videos explaining how this cycle and the balance of this aquarium works. But the fish, they produce waste, and plants actually enjoy consuming waste. And because of that, we have a cycle. And of course, we have the natural light fueling the plants, and we have balance. So definitely awesome. Definitely my most natural aquariums. And just when you take a few steps back, the scenery is amazing. To the left, we have the ferns that used to be in my 880 gallon aquarium. I planted a wandering Jew up here, and now it's reaching down into the water, and we have roots in the water from that wandering Jew. We have these plants almost with like a 3D effect. It is 3D, but they're just spilling over and out of the aquarium. This umbrella palm is like 4 feet tall, and just really a very nice aquarium, very out of control, which I love. And it's definitely out of control in a good way, because like I said, I could go months without doing water changes and my parameters are still in check. Nitrates are still low because it's balanced. I have the perfect amount of fish with the perfect amount of plants. Speaking of the fish are doing awesome. So these right here are a second generation of Paradise Gourami. Unfortunately, both the parents of this group died, so I'm left with this pair, this male right here and a female over here. I have another male and female in that aquarium, and then I have 5 adults downstairs, as you saw earlier. And this tank I also have a bunch of cherry barbs. I started off with 4, and you can see that I have more than 4. I started off with 1 male and 3 females. You can see I have multiple males. All the bright red ones are males, and they're looking absolutely gorgeous. I love the red on top of the green leaves, And right now is the best time to view them because we're getting a sunset. The sun shines directly in this window. And you know, a lot of people say don't leave your aquarium directly in front of a window. But when you have this many plants, you're allowed to do it. And the results are amazing because these fish look incredible in that sunlight. So yeah, we have a group of cherry barbs. They're doing great. They love to reproduce and the babies survive because just the thick growth and the roots and everything like that. To the right, I wanted to do something similar. Like I said, I do have the 2 adult Paradise Gourami. However, these guys took it upon themselves to reproduce, and now we have some babies. You can see one right up here on top. He just disappeared. But yeah, that is my 3rd generation now of Paradise Gourami living in that aquarium. My camera is a little acting up a little bit. I have a different assortment of plants, so when a Paradise Gourami do spawn, I believe in the right tank they just have a much higher chance of success because I have thicker growth, I have jungle vowel and everything like that, and the plants in that right tank are just a lot more dense. Eventually I would like to get another school in that right aquarium, and in this tank I have the red cherry barbs. I wanted to get like a blue type of dania or something like that just to have red and blue. But these tanks, they're doing their own thing. The Paradise Gourami are doing their own thing when it comes to spawning, so I'm not going to interfere right now because I don't really have anything to do with those babies or anywhere to put them. But yeah, these 2 tanks are my goal as a fish keeper. Just to have tanks that have so many plants and that have just so much balance that really I don't have to do much but feed the fish, top off every now and then, and enjoy them. So yeah, definitely loving these aquariums and they're doing great. Okay everyone, so the final stop on my fish room tour is in the backyard. Now we're going to take a look at the backyard koi / goldfish pond. This pond is about 1,000 gallons and we are in the fall. And the cool thing about having a pond in New Jersey is that we get all 4 seasons, and each season has its own unique beauty when it comes to the pond. And I believe that the best thing about fall are the grasses. The grasses take all summer to grow, and then finally in the fall they bloom. And look at these nice pink / purple heads on this one. The cattails looking great. They're starting to die off because of the cold nights, but they still look pretty awesome. They definitely make this pond feel legit, makes it feel more natural, and you can barely tell that it was man-made. These grasses over here, they have a nice purple leaves, and then over here again with those nice tips. So yeah, the grasses look incredible. Inside the water we have these huge irises, just absolutely massive. And in a waterfall, you can barely see the waterfall. There's a 3-tier waterfall, but it's full of plants. The only thing I don't like about fall is that this is when I really have to do my big cleanup. Gotta get in the pond and trim up this iris, gotta get on that waterfall and trim that up. But definitely a nice adjustment into winter. The fish are starting to slow down. The water isn't as clear as it could be, and that's because, like I said, I've been busy and I haven't been purifying the water, cleaning the pads like I normally do. I normally do it like once every 2 weeks, but I haven't been doing it. I've been doing it like maybe once every month, so that's the reason why the water isn't crystal clear. But eventually, as we get into colder temperatures, the fish will eat less and the water will start to clear up on its own. As far as the fish, they're doing great. I did add 2 new koi that I got for free. I wasn't planning on adding any new fish because the pond is pretty much overstocked. However, my weakness is free fish, so let's see if I can feed them and get them to come up for you guys. So these guys know that the temperatures are dropping, so any chance they get to eat, they do eat. And they definitely are looking great. The biggest one in here is maybe about 14 inches, and the smallest are the 2 new ones that I added, which are now about 6 inches. When I added them, they were 4 inches. They grew a nice 2 inches over the summer. I just want to spot them out. I know this video is getting long. I just want to see if I can spot out the 2 new ones. We have one over here. You can see, where is he? You see the little orange right here? That's one of them. He likes to stay over. He's intimidated by the bigger fish, but you can kind of see the orange dancing over here. And then we have one that is a little bit more bolder. He likes to stay with the other guys. That's actually him right there in the back that just went under the iris. So yeah, the pond doing awesome. I do, like I said, gotta get in here and start trimming plants and eventually put up my net because these leaves will be coming down on top of the pond. But yeah, that's what's been going on. So yeah, once again, I thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and I thank you for just staying subscribed to the channel, for reaching out to me and making sure I'm okay, and just for being there. I do apologize for the long periods of time that I go without making videos, but you guys are awesome, and that's a ton of motivation to keep making videos. So yeah, thank you for that. So yeah, this video is long, so I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.